be sure to check out our sponsor, All Grain Brewing Specialists, for all your home brewing needs. Check them out. That's allgrainbrewing.biz. Thank you and enjoy the video. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Pig and Swig. And today is Brew Day.
Yeah.
As you remember in our last video, right here, we had a lot of equipment that we had to brew with.
Hey, wait a minute.
What?
Why is it gotta be there? Why can't it be here?
Well, because I'm the one that edits the video.
Why is it always gotta be about you? I thought it was about the Grainfather. Why can't it be here?
Oh yeah, let's put it here then. In the last brew video, is this better?
Well, yeah, okay.
Alright. We had a lot of equipment. But today, we're going to use the Grainfather. It's our first time, so we don't know how it's going to go, but that's why we're doing it. It's for you guys, so we know how easy it is. The all-in-one brewery, I guess, is how they're calling it. So, yeehaw.
Should cut down quite a bit of equipment and hopefully a couple extra steps. Well, the steps are still there, but just all
Steps are still there, but it's all in one, they say. So,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So, stay tuned, and magically this thing will be set up. Right back. Alright, here we are. As you can see, we're brewing inside. That's supposed to be one of the good things about this system, is you can do it inside. You don't have all your propane burning and stuff. You just need a 110 outlet and do it inside. So we're going to do it in the kitchen. They give you some fittings so that you can hook the wort chiller and things to your regular kitchen faucet. So there it is. That's one of the good things about it, doing it inside. So we'll show you the steps as we go along.
Okay, we're at the mashing part of the process. First thing we had to do was add the specified amount of water. The book actually gives you a formula. You know, you need to know how much grain you have, the weight, and then the formula tells you the amount of water needed for that grain. And there's also some procedures for a smaller grain bill. Anyway, we have the water that we need in here, and it's heating up to the proper mash temperature. Take the handle. We'll set it in there, and it just sets in a couple notches. Give it a little turn, and drop it. And on the inside, we have the bottom plate in with the tubes up to it. Then we put in the grain stopper, which at first I hate to say it, I was trying to figure out the use for this piece of thing, and it does exactly what it says it does. It's a grain stopper. We'll be adding our grain next, and that stops the grain from getting into the overflow or the tubes. And at the next step, we'll actually remove that to do the next process. Anyway, we'll get back and we'll add the grains.
Okay, we got our mash temperature up to 170, 171. So we're looking for 152 after the grain's in. So we'll see how that goes. So we're gonna add our grain. Lee's going to stir, making sure we don't have any clumps. We have the grain stopper on here, and the only time you use that is when you're putting the grain in. It just keeps the grain from going down inside the tube and plugging up the system. So here we go.
Hey, why am I using a whisk?
We don't have a spoon.
Where's your spoon?
We'll have to spoon it the last place we made beer.
Oh, on the porter?
Yeah.
Were you drinking?
No.
No.
I don't drink.
Okay.
I just make beer. At least on
Actually,
this
I
one.
like this idea. This whisk looks pretty good. Losing some grain in it, but that'll work out. Slow down just a little bit. The idea here is you don't want to get any clumps in your grain.
Alright, temperature's going down, so that's good. Is that working alright, that whisk?
Oh, it's a bit different. You know, with the grains going up around the whisk, but just stop and shake it out, and that breaks the clumps up.
Awesome.
I'm glad I came up with this idea.
It's stainless steel.
There you go.
Hmm.
And then at this point, we put that other plate on, correct?
Yep, once we get it stirred up.
Right.
Now I know that that grain has dropped the temperature of the water, but apparently the thermometer is slow to react to that. It's saying we only lost 1 degree.
Now, as far as warm-up temperature, to me, I thought it took a bit of time. What do you think about that?
It definitely took a long time to get it up to 170. We did flip it over to boil for a few minutes to help speed up the process, and that did help. But yeah, just set on mash like the instructions say to do. It took a little bit.
Now, I know that the manufacturers of the Grainfather are not running out to see our video or listen to our suggestions, but I think you had a pretty good suggestion on that sight glass.
Oh yeah, it needs a sight glass on the side. We'll get into that when we start sparging. You'll see why. We're probably good.
Yep, that's what I ain't feeling anything. It's breaking up pretty nicely.
And then this thing, we have to put this dude on. And it's got a rubber gasket around, a silicone gasket, and it doesn't fit on there very far. See? And it has a tendency to want to come off because it catches the edge. I think something here is not perfectly round. It's got to be a tight fit, I understand that, but man.
There is some finessing to get it in just right.
There's one at the bottom of this too, and it was a pain.
There was some words used putting it in.
So I think we'll just run it down there crooked at first, and then flatten it out when we get it there.
Now on this, you set it down to the top of the grain. You don't compress the grain though. You just push it down to the top of it.
Right. You set it down to the top of the grain, and you want to try to get it in there straight. There, I think we're pretty straight.
All right.
Now we can take our tube out. We'll put the overflow deal on. We have to push the overflow down to that screen. There you go.
All right.
Just like that. Put our lid on.
Do we want to put our other extension piece at this point?
What extension piece?
Oh, that's right. I misspoke on that. I was thinking.
Let's put this deal together.
That's right. I was thinking that's what that was at first, and I realized that's the grain stopper.
Tighten it up. Make sure this valve's on. Now we're supposed to turn the pump on.
And the mash has started.
Maybe.
And see.
That's starting to. There we go. Now it's flowing.
I was gonna say, so that was all the commotion about this thing, huh?
I'm gonna try to peek that lid up. I just want to get a view of the can. You can't see for all the steam. Maybe we can get it up and around. There, that'll work just like that. As you can see, it's flowing out of the tube. And what's supposed to happen is it's going to keep rinsing that grain off, rinsing it off. Well, when it gets high enough to go inside this tube, it'll run back down so that it doesn't overflow. A little different way of mashing, but I can see how it would work. You definitely get all you can out of the grain this way, I would think. Is it about to overflow?
There you go.
There it goes. Now it's overflowing in the tube. It'll just keep recirculating and keep pulling that wort through the grain, rinsing it off. Pretty cool.
Now the mash times on these is the same as doing a regular mash, correct?
Yeah, we're gonna mash for an hour, just like this. So we can put the lid on. We'll get back to you in a little bit. Right now we're just gonna let this set for an hour and see what happens. That thing's still reading hot. So I'm thinking that the thermometer is not keeping up with how drastically it pulled the temperature down, because it should have dropped it way more than what it's saying it did. So, but I've got it set at 152, so it'll get down there, especially with it flowing now. So,
one thing I want to mention: there's little tab or clips on the side. It says "Do not use" with the glass lid.
yeah, do not use the clips on the glass lid. All right, yeehaw. Stay tuned.
All right.
Okay. Well, we've done our hour mash in. So we're gonna turn the pump off and the element off and take this stuff apart.
What are you taking it apart? Any thoughts on the mashing process?
That's pretty simple.
Unit was really quiet.
Yeah, it's real quiet. Well, man, I just turned it off and you didn't notice any difference in the sound. So. Yeehaw. What do we do with that handle?
Move all the equipment to one side over there.
It's over here. Alright. There's your handle that comes in and out. It's got little locks on it on each end. It just kind of hooks the edge. Supposedly you're supposed to pick this up, turn it 90 degrees, and then it's going to set in here by itself. So you might have to help me pick it up. Oh, you don't have to hold that in anywhere, but it's heavy. It's full of grain. Oh,
They're green.
left.
Yep. I do like the little hooks there on the side.
That's why they recommend sitting it on the floor. Ooh, that was tough. You can see, there's the inside. It's draining down. We're gonna let that drain. One thing that this thing needs that it doesn't have is a sight glass. We have to put hot water, sparging water, in the top and fill it up to our recommended setting, which on this beer we're going to use 6 gallons. As you can see, it's got the deals on the outside for the measurements, but you can't see inside here to know how much water you have. So it really needs a sight glass on the side. There's the controller. I've already turned it off, so. Yep. Alright, we'll get to sparging. Okay, we've started our sparge. Now, I guess apparently you don't want to pour in a lot of water too fast. You get a stuck sparge. Lee, what's a stuck sparge?
From what I'm gathering is the grain itself compacts and it doesn't allow the water, the sparging water, to go through the grain and basically builds up on top of the grain bill. And then at that point you need to pull the top plate, stir the grains a little bit to break that up. It kind of clumps up together and then that allows the sparge water to drain again.
Sure. And just so you know, the water that I'm pouring in is around 152 degrees. So, just rinsing the grain off. We did go ahead, since it takes so long to bring it up to a boil, we did go ahead and set the element to boil. If we're not done sparging by the time it gets real close to boil, we'll turn the element back off. But since it takes so long, that's kind of how we're doing it. So we've got well, we got another gallon and a half to put in there.
Right.
So
again, the formula for your sparge water is in the instruction handbook.
Yep.
For the grain bill you're using.
And we're going off their formulas since you can't see inside this thing, so I guess when we pull the basket off, we'll see exactly how much we ended up with, right or wrong. So, alright, we've given up. It won't boil. It comes to a good simmer, 211 degrees. It's been over an hour. If you put the lid on, it'll start boiling, but of course you can't run with the lid on.
The instructions actually say do not put the lid on because you're...
Yeah, the instructions tell you not to run with the lid, so I think they need a bigger element. So we're going to go with what it is, I guess. We don't have any other choice. We've lost a lot of product off of steam just sitting here waiting. So,
it's been what, over an hour?
I mean, it's been over an hour. So we'll go ahead and add these hops. Maybe that'll help make it boil.
This is our first edition?
Yeah.
And what's our first edition?
Chinook and Cascade, I think.
Yes, it's Cascade and Chinook hops. It's a blend.
Yeah. So, on that deal, that sucks. Well, you can see that's, you don't know if the camera's picking it up, but that's all that it will do.
And
It will not boil.
you know the boil you can get off of propane.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a real bummer. The controller says it's 211 degrees, which I'll believe it because it's right there where it wants to boil, but it just won't do it. So I don't know. Don't know. Oh well. We'll try this, I guess. See what happens.
Now for another hour boil.
Yeah, now we gotta boil for an hour. Well, simmer.
Simmer.
Okay, we got it ready to chill. So we turn the pump on, go through the counterflow. We need to open this up a little
Side
bit.
valve.
They say you don't want it opened all the way. Here she comes.
I know on a wort chiller, which totally off than this, you start out running your cold water through with the wort chiller in the wort, and you feel the hot water coming off from it. On this, do you feel the wort coming out cool right off the bat, or is it partially?
Well, I don't want to feel it.
No, I meant just on the tube. You can.
On the tube, yeah, it feels cool. I mean, it's not cold, but
It's not hot like it would be on a
I
wort
wish the
chiller.
tube was a little longer. Of course, there again, we're supposed to be on the floor anyways. I guess we could set it up here on this table. So we'll get this filled up, and we'll give you our final thoughts on this contraption. Well, here we are, guys. I'm going to give our final thoughts on the Grainfather and the process that we went through, and we'll kind of go from there. So, what do you think about it, Lee?
Well, I was pretty impressed with the ease of the process of using it. It was a lot quicker than using a regular mash tun. Very quiet. I was very impressed with that.
Did cut down on the equipment.
It kind of lived up to its hype of one step.
Right.
It was pretty good. The one issue that I saw, though, that really bothered me was it took quite a while to get to its boil temperature. It seemed like it took a long time to get there.
Well, even the mash temperature, it took it probably took what, an hour to get to the mash temperature?
Right, and that again
which
for
was
the
only
boil.
100 and well, we got it up to 170, and then our grain cooled it down. That took a while. I don't know how long it took. But it
we
took
had trouble maintaining that boil point too.
Yeah, well, that's the mash. Once we mashed in and got our grain in, once the temperature dropped down to 152. It maintained the temperature real good then.
Yes, it did.
For that hour long of mashing in, it maintained it beautifully.
Yes.
Our goal was 152 degrees, and that's what I set it at. First time using it, it wouldn't kick on the element until it got down to 149. So it was a 3 to 4 degree deal
Window there, yes.
window. So I think next time, since our goal is 152, I may jack it up to 153. You know, kind of even it out some more. But yeah, then when we hit boil, it took
God.
an hour and a half,
Easy.
and it never did come to a boil.
Well, we kind of
Right, we cheated, went against the instructions, put the lid on, and it boiled.
partially on.
Yeah. Well, at first we put it on all
Right.
the way, and that was too much. So we learned if you leave the lid off just a little bit, it was perfect, and it would maintain that 212, and it would boil fine. But it took us, even at that, man, an hour and a half
Easy.
to get up to a boil,
Yeah.
and that was with the lid off. So I think we'll brew another beer in it here in the near future, and we'll try some different methods.
Well, don't they have a
Jacket.
jacket?
They've
that
got
they
an
actually
insulated
suggest?
jacket. Yeah, they got an insulated jacket that we can put on here, and that's supposed to help. So we're gonna get one of those ordered, and we're gonna try that, and hopefully that fixes it without the lid. But we'll see. So make sure you guys check out the next video of the Grainfather. I think it'll go a lot smoother next time because now we know how it works. We know some tips and tricks. The instructions say have a beer in 5 hours?
Yes.
Or just under 5. It took us 8
Easy.
yesterday, 8. So yeah, that was a long brew day. So I think next time we can get it down to around 5.
Right.
So
Well, and I think they've realized that there may be something there. I think that's the reason they went with the blanket.
yep, I think so. The thing is, this thing was designed in Europe where they have 240 volts for their electricity. It's just standard. Where the U.S. model runs on 110. The heating element is 1600 watts.
Yes.
In the U.S. version, the
2, isn't it?
what?
2,000 in Europe.
Yeah, it's 2,000 in Europe on the wattage. So that makes a big difference. So I think if they had just a little hotter element in there, like 1,800, I think it would have got to that boil and maintained it. But that's all right. But the next time we use it, we'll have a jacket for it, and we'll try some other things. So I think it'll go a lot smoother. I'm not going to completely nix it yet. I think we're going to give it one more try.
It had a lot of good points.
It does. It's got a lot of good points. I think we'll give it one more try, and then we'll really see if we really want one or not. So, other than that, anything else, Lee?
Nothing I can think of. I will say that it really surprised me on the ease and the quietness of it. It was
is
a very
it's really
easy brew
quiet.
day. If we can get that time
Yep. And we brewed it in the kitchen, inside.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
No propane,
No propane, just
no fumes. Yes.
and it was quiet and nice. So yeah. So we'll try it again with the insulated jacket that they have for it, and then we'll see if we need to keep the lid on again or not. But I think next time will be smoother.
I do too.
So like I said, I don't want to throw it out yet, but we'll give it one more chance. So cheers.
Cheers.
Until next time, guys. Cheers. That'll work, won't it?